You know, the alternative drug that's out there right now from Biogen is $400,000 to $800,000 a year. It is getting reimbursed all around the world, actually pretty well. And I think, as Meg referred to, this new gene therapy drug, which could cost $2 million or more, is a life-saving therapy. These babies, these infants would be essentially nowhere in a year, and now they're growing up to possibly be normal children living a normal life. It's pretty impressive.
Yesterday, Larry Robbins gave his presentation at Sohn where he said he'd be short the pharmaceuticals, an ETF, an index, however you want to do that, because U.S. drugs cost 3x what they do in other parts of the world, and we hear this all the time. Is Novartis going to walk right into a political firestorm here?
I think that in the big picture, the large companies like you're referring to are going to continue to be in the target zone, in the bullseye for a lot of these politicians. And I think that on a relative basis, you've seen it with large biotech companies, which haven't done anything for the last year or two, haven't done anything. We'd be focusing more on the small and the mid-cap companies, the XBI, which is still up 20% this year. Those are the small, innovative companies that are coming up with some of these great drugs. And there's been a lot of acquisitions and a lot of M&A. Those have been doing pretty well. And so we think that those are where people should be focused on.
Meg, is there any way to know the right price for these kinds of gene therapies, which are going to increasingly have these kinds of price tags?
That's a huge debate right now. And there are independent groups, one called ICER, which tries to do the pharmacoeconomic studies of what these kinds of things are worth. Of course, then you are arguing over how much should a life be valued, especially when it's in babies who might die before their second birthday. So these are the kinds of arguments that are going on. Drug companies are putting one price tag. ICER is often coming in a lot lower than that. And so that's happening. And now we're talking about different pricing models. Instead of paying $2 million all at the same time, could you spread that out over the patient's life?
Yeah.
Things like that, but it's really complicated.
I mean, no one can afford $2 million, so I'm sure they're going to come up with that. Well, it's a great story. We'll have more. But, Michael, before we go, I just want to briefly ask you, would you be buying pharma on this sell-off today? I mean, it's a little indiscriminate.
It is indiscriminate. You know, healthcare had been a huge outperformer, at least the large cap pharma companies last year. Most of the broad healthcare, the DRG, has been big performers. Again, we'd be focused on the small and the mid cap companies, those or the XBI index, and we think that moves higher based on M&A and continued innovation in gene therapy.